We are live. I like it. All right. So I think my tweet just went out. Let me just quickly check. Quickly check. Because Twitter, I don't trust it so much anymore lately. Okay, it worked.
It
Righty.
worked because I see the message that you sent me like 2 weeks ago as the new notification, but I
There you
entered it
go.
really good.
All right. Anyways, so we are live, in fact. And so this is the first time we're live streaming something called Tim Tries. Because I did this thing before back in the day where I would just try new software without having ever touched it and to see, hey, how's the onboarding? Is it a cool thing to use? How fast is time to failure? Things like that. And now we decided to do it in a stream, which means I can actually interview the person who built the thing, and then he's going to see me struggle using the thing. And
Which is
today
always
we're
great.
doing this with Alvaro. So Alvaro, introduce yourself. Very, please.
Hi everyone. First of all, thanks for having me today here. I'm
Of
Alvaro
course.
Sabu, Vue developer, working as a dev role in Storyblock, and I'm the author of TresJS, which is basically what we are going to try today.
Exactly. I am excited for this one. So how about what is TresJS? Let's start with the basics.
So TresJS is a library that allows you to create 3D experiences
All right.
declaratively with Vue components.
You said a lot of things there that we have to unpack in a bit, I think. Because the fact that it's declarative, that alone is super cool. That you can do it with Vue is super cool. But I feel like I interrupted you, so please continue.
No, no, no. It's actually fair because this is a pre-made like sentence that I found fancy to to explain what Tres says. But a little
Yeah.
bit of motivation will be like I love 3D. Since I
Mm.
was a kid, I wanted to be a game developer or game designer. And I have been learning for the last 2 years how to do 3D on the web. So
Okay.
obviously 3DS came around. It's a library on JavaScript, really famous on top of WebGL, and you
Yeah.
can do a lot of cool stuff. But eventually, I saw that the only tools to do stuff was in React, and there
Okay.
was yeah React through Fiverr, which
Mhm.
is obviously a great inspiration for this project as well. And from then on, like I wanted to have the same for the Vue community.
Yeah, of
That we
course.
could create like these fancy scenes with the Vue components. So you can create the scene only using a Vue component and then passing an object that is also a Vue component, and you can the same approach as you will do with UI, right? So you can
It's
reuse the
crazy.
stuff, create
Because
several.
to me, like thinking back to when WebGL came out, I used WebGL when 3JS didn't exist. So that was like low level stuff. And like the simple things like making a thing and putting a texture on it or something, that it was okay, but it was really challenging. And it almost felt a little bit like how you would do with Canvas. It's just true coding, right? And then 3GS came and made it so much simpler. But this is my next question for you. Is 3GS basically the only one, or is there also other stuff out there that rivals 3GS?
Actually, that's a good question. Like, there are several resources for WebGL, but I guess the most famous and most used one is 3GS. So
Yeah.
there is a lot of community around, and that's why
Hmm.
it have evolved so much.
Yeah, I can also and like just use stuff that where the community is, like just with like this React library. Why not? It's one of the biggest communities, so everybody can support each other. And
Exactly.
so you built this in Vue now, which means you can build components like you build HTML almost, and then attach whatever 3D thing you want to build on these components. And to me, that's the magic. Because at least for me, I'm one of those more old school person or people that like I need structure to build something. I need like a little template like in Vue. This is my Vue, it's my controller. I
Correct.
sound really old now, but that's kind of it works for me. I have this feeling of this is how it should be. And so you did that. And so I'm pretty excited. Um, do you like okay, what shall we do? Shall I just literally share my screen and get started, or do you maybe want to show something first to set a bit of the context?
No, I think we can start because the page that we use for documentation can set the tone really quick.
Okay,
So
cool.
let's jump on it.
Okay, I'm just going to share my full screen. And what you need to know as people who are watching this, on purpose, I have actually not prepared because I want to use this clean. Like, of course, uh, Alvaro has shown me, hey, this is what I've built, but nothing else. All right, so let's go to a browser. Here we go. So you see the URL at least auto-completed. So I've been to the website, but that's about it. All right. I'm guessing it's going to be just, actually, can we see
Nice.
everything? Yeah, we're good. So get started, right?
Yeah.
Noise. Ooh, I see some 3D. Whoa.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
auto scroll, right?
Yeah, it's actually all connected to the mouse already, which is cool. I like that with 3DS, that it's super easy to do that.
Yeah, this has the orbit controls, and this is
Yeah.
actually the cool thing is that I managed to get this scene inside of VidPress because this
Oh, cool.
documentation is done
Yeah,
in VidPress.
exactly. So is this like Markdown that then became a component somehow?
Yeah.
Ah, cool. So the way to get started is literally just this.
Yep.
Okay, so I think, but we do this in Vue or in Nuxt?
Right now, we are working on the Nux module, but let's do it plain view.
Oh yeah, I see that here. Okay, so um, I always forget how to get started with a plain Vue component.
Maybe we can create a bit like a bit app with Vue, npx create bit.
Isn't it something like this?
Do you have a npx?
Oh yes, of course. But I don't think it's this. Should we?
No,
I always forget
npx
this stuff.
bit new. We can also like it would be nice to show how you install it, but there is also a starter that you can use.
You know what? Let's go for the starter.
Yeah.
So where would I find that?
Okay, it's in the repo. So if you go to GitHub, I
I'm
don't have
assuming
the
it's
I don't have the link in the documentation because it's closed yet. But if you go to the GitHub, there is one starter.
I'm thinking it's this one.
The- in the same library as TresJS. So this is like a one that I'm using for YouTube videos. So there should be a starter one. Yes.
Okay, we get this one.
Yeah.
That's actually nice. So we have something without the full scaffolding, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's beat directly latest version, so it should be okay.
So let's quickly install some stuff. I'm assuming it's not going to be that much.
There is a cool command that is called npx digit that
Okay.
allows you to initialize the public starters from GitHub.
Oh, shall we try that instead? Or, well, it's going now
It's
anyways.
already done. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that much.
Okay, so this started is a little bit more opinionated, so I have like my prettier and stuff. You
Ah, yeah, cool.
feel free to remove whatever you don't need, but it's Vite, okay?
Yeah, so I have this. Okay, so we just go yarn dev,
Hmm,
go to the local host, and here we go. We have something. I like it.
nice.
Noise.
And actually, something funny is that now it looks darker because 3GS just released a new version.
Hmm.
They removed the physical incorrect lights and it's
Okay.
showing directly to here. So without the need of deploying again, is the latest version of 3.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so shall we just have a look at what this looks like in code?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming it's just, okay, so you actually have an experience component here. Okay. And what I like is that I'm seeing TypeScript. That is
Yeah.
cool. And so does that mean that whatever comes out of this TresJS thing or the orbit controls, that all of this stuff, it kind of knows what to do with it because of TypeScript.
Actually, this version, like this is a version one, right? So
Hmm.
you remember I put in the chat, like in the communication in Twitter, that it will be a surprise today.
Ah, yes.
It has to do with TypeScript because to give an explanation a little bit how this works, maybe we can go to the main TS where we are installing the plugin, right?
Yeah,
So here we are taking Tres from the 3 core and we are installing it like we will do with any other Vue plugin, right?
exactly.
So we are installing in there, and then this 3 does the magic
Hmm.
behind. So it creates all the components in runtime.
Yeah.
So that means that right now there is no type definition for each one of the components that are made from the tree instance. So
Oh,
one of
because
the
they're
issues
all on
that
Trash dot something, I assume.
exactly like you have the tree instance of the latest version of tree, and this is generating components based on that.
Yeah, okay.
So if you go to the experience, for example,
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at what all this is. So you're
okay,
giving your initial state. And so this state is basically just the options you're giving to the basics of 3GS, right?
to the renderer.
Yeah.
So that tres canvas component you see there, that's
Hmm.
the one that handles the renderer. So this creates a WebGL renderer, and
Yeah.
then all the components that you pass as slots are added to that render. So
Okay.
if you remember in 3D, like there are three really important stuff to create a scene, right? You need the renderer, which is
Yeah.
the DOM element of the canvas to render on top of it.
Yeah.
Then you need to create a scene and a camera.
Yeah.
Those are the core ones. So that's why we had this stress perspective camera and this stress scene.
Exactly. And so a quick question before we dive in, like this is a reactive
Yeah.
variable, right? So does that mean that when I set shadows to false, will it automatically update the state and then this re-renders somehow?
In the dress canvas, yes,
Okay.
because it's native and it's done on purpose to do that. But one thing that is important in 3D in general is that it's running a loop. So if you go
Exactly.
to the actual example in the browser, we can exemplify it a little bit better. So right here, you see that we can move around, we can zoom, we can see like
Yeah,
animated, right?
exactly.
We're basically moving the camera
Yeah.
in this
And
scenario.
I imagine, I think they call this like a game loop or something, right? It just
Correct.
runs at get a request animation frame, 60 frames per second. And every frame that it renders, it just looks at, hey, where did you pan the camera? Let me render it that way.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
So that's will be the question. Like viewer activity is based on proxies.
Yeah.
So whenever we're dealing with something that updates the renderer, like the scene, the renderer that it updates
Hmm.
constantly, if we use reactivity, it will be way slower. That it will drop the FPS count to the ground.
Yeah, because
Against
what it
using a
would do
plain
is
object.
update the reactive properties 60 times per second, which is pretty insane for
Correct.
reactive stuff. There's no need for it, right?
Like to be fair, this kind of game loops and rendering, they are not
Hmm.
meant to be reactive in the way we think in reactivity for Vue. So we
Okay.
are kind of hacking using Vue and something that doesn't need that reactivity in the same place.
Yeah. But you could potentially do this without that game loop, right? You can just render a 3D thing and that's it.
For the canvas, you will need to update the canvas every time. So that's when it comes expensive. So what we actually did inside of the inside of Vue, like inside of the tree canvas and so on, is using shallow reactive.
Okay.
So shallow reactive is great because it maintains the level of reactivity to react to
Hmm.
the things that you need. But if things are getting updated, like a position inside of one of the objects, then it doesn't trigger. So that it continues being performed.
That's very interesting. And you can see these are like proper Vue components. That's so
Yeah, you
cool.
can use the DevTools.
Yeah, you can actually use the dev tools and just look at like the camera. Wait, can we look at the camera?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here we go. And
Now,
so if I do this, okay, so these are just the initial settings, right? So when I now change this, this does not get updated, or
no,
does it?
no. This one, no. With the new version, might be
Hmm.
because they're just seeing the props that you're passing to it as attributes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm just quickly checking because we're getting some questions, I think.
Oh, nice.
Ah, so we have Jiri. What up, dude? Nice
Hey,
to see
Jerry.
you. Oh, and he's actually helping us. Look at that. We didn't see it because I was sharing my screen. And we have Marcus as well. What's up, dude? I love that basically our colleague speakers are just joining us here, which is very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we like this. All right, we're gonna go back and okay. So, what would be the next step? What do you think is a cool thing to do?
Actually, we can load. Well, before we load something fancy, let's talk about the meshes,
Mhm.
which are the objects, right? So we have touched like
Yes.
the trace canvas, the perspective camera, and the scene.
Yeah.
Now we can add the stuff to the scene. So we can add a mesh with geometry of a cone with a material. In this case, it's like a two-niche material. It's like Zelda games,
Yeah. Yeah.
Breath of
Exactly.
the Wild.
Hmm.
So it's like this two-niche kind of material and so on. And these are the three objects that reflects the branding of TresJS as the base. Maybe we can create one from scratch, so you
That's
can
it.
remove them all.
So before we dive into that, I have a quick question on this one, right? So let's say we make a mesh and give a position, stuff like that,
Yeah,
give it some shadow. So there's a prop in here that says, okay, this is my cone that I just created. Let me create a cone. This is the geometry of it. And then I add a material. And so this material applies to this cone, which then together sit in this group, right? Does it always work
kind
like
of.
that? If I now actually add something after this, will that then also be applied to the first cone? Or could we have multiple cones in one mesh?
That's the thing. So the way it's built is that it works exactly the same as it will work if you do plain 3GS. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So in 3GS, you normally need to create a mesh,
Hmm.
and the mesh will have two properties as an argument. They are all classes. They are all
Oh
instances.
yeah, so it's like a mesh dot add, and then you add a thing that you just instantiated like a cone.
Exactly. So one of the
Okay.
parameters is the geometry, and another parameter is the material.
Okay, and so you just did a nice way to like templify that or templateify somehow,
Exactly. That you can pass it as a component in a slot. Mhm.
which is cool. So let's make a mesh. So what do
Correct.
I add to that?
For now, nothing.
Okay, I like it. Simple. So what was the next one?
What geometry would you like to do?
Let's make a sphere.
Okay, that's fair. So the good thing on something that we wanted to achieve is that you don't need documentation to know what kind of geometry you can put here. You can
Hmm.
go to the 3GS documentation or having your code in plain 3GS and know what to put here with the prefix of tres.
Okay,
So if
that's
you
cool.
want a sphere geometry, it will be just like that, the sphere geometry in camel case.
Shouldn't it now? I kind of just wanted to autocomplete this for me.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I know. Because I cannot type.
But it's really nice to see this because this is the pain point that the users are having.
I can imagine because I'm not that good at this kind of stuff. So I just now go to the 3GS docs and
Hmm.
say, so it's literally that one, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think I typed it correctly in the end.
Yeah,
So
nice. It's good.
if we look at these docs, this is basically what we're going to add to it, right?
Yes, those are the arguments. So if there is a special property called two dots, like a property in Vue,
Hmm.
args, like arguments, and you pass an array. That one.
Like this.
Yes.
And so this is essentially just whatever you push into this kind of new um, class, whatever this is, those are the arcs that you push. So it's just a really nice and easy mapper into this. So now it's probably not showing that much, right? Because we didn't actually give it anything, like there's no look to it yet.
No, we only put the geometry. We need to define like how the geometry will look, which is basically the material.
Can I just go like this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. So you can actually get everything from here.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to add a color like that, how would that work? Also like this?
It can be like that because the mesh basic material, if you go to the 3JS documentation, you can see there is also an argument that you can pass.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
But we can pass it as a property as well.
I like that.
And
So
why
we
as
can,
a property? Because TresJS does a lot of magic for you. So if you wanted to do it the other way around, you will need to create the color with the instance creator that they have, like
oh
a
yeah,
custom.
exactly.
With
So
this,
you
you
do this behind the scenes somehow.
yeah.
And so this would work.
I think you need to put it in the string though. Ah, no, it's okay. It's okay. It should work.
Yeah, because if I do this, it tries to do this as a function somehow.
Hmm.
Okay, let's see. Hmm,
What happened?
I don't know. I wrote it like this. Oh, does it need to have the hash bang or do we have to go like this?
No, you can put like a color instead, and it will work. Maybe let's debug it. You have the trash group. Take out the trash group.
Oh, maybe it's actually the position.
Yeah, could be.
Okay.
Okay, and now I see that the look it has like a position, the camera.
Yeah.
So maybe we can take out the look at.
Oh yeah, because it has a certain thing it looks at and it might just be missing our mesh. The thing is, I have not set up my mesh to have a certain, oh, there is geometry actually in it.
Yeah,
Okay. So it
it's
should see
short.
this.
This is your geometry.
Oh, but how about let's have a look at this starter and see what you had in that because maybe I'm just missing something. All right, so what you added is just this.
Like if you copy and paste one of
Yeah,
those, you
let's just try and I'll get the group also. So we go back to the look at. So what did I? Okay, just the group. There we go.
okay. That now we
Okay,
have
so
the
it
code.
okay. So now let's make this into and we. I'm just gonna grab this one so I know it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
It does not like the sphere at all, somehow.
It's sphere geometry.
Yeah, but you have that in this one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, I have in the last one.
Oh, look, you don't have any arcs. Maybe that's it. Okay, we'll learn as we go, man. I like it.
It's okay. That this is what the user are gonna find when they're using it. So
You know what's interesting about this is that if you do 3GS, even if you're like experienced, you'll still have these issues. I think that's nothing to do with TresJS at all. It's just
you,
having to
you
know
know
what kind of properties exist, kind of thing.
you know what's the biggest one at the beginning? Like you are not gonna see anything. is that the position of the camera is always 0, 0, 0. So if
Okay.
you don't put a position, you're gonna be inside of the object, and since the
Oh,
object,
you have to zoom it out somehow, right?
uh, that happens a lot.
Oh, yeah. But like that's what like you need to somehow do something that has smart defaults, but not stupid smart defaults. And so,
Yeah,
but it's really hard. You cannot make that decision because if you say my position is always going to be 777, but in 3GS it's never like that, then you made an assumption, and then 3GS developers are not going to like what you do because it doesn't react the same. So you kind of just have
you're
to
doing too
go
much
off of what
magic.
they do.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
something that I really didn't like about React Fiber. I use it a lot. Is that they made a lot of encoding color aspects for you,
mhm.
and the camera they do the zoom as well. So it was like, okay, I feel I don't have control as I will have it normally in 3GS.
Yeah, so you kind of you kind of just did less kind of smart defaults, but just went with how 3DS would do it. So
Hmm.
you can probably help me with this. Like right now, it's not at the center, right? It's actually off center. Is
Hmm.
that just this?
It's the positions. So, but we will need a reference because right now it's floating in somewhere, so we don't know where the origin is, right?
No, actually, I don't know at all, especially because we took a sphere. It's even harder.
So one way we can see it is that you can add a component that creates an access helper.
Ah, cool. So would we do that next to the controls?
No, I will do it inside of the scene because everything needs to be inside of the scene to work.
Okay, so how do I call this?
Press access helper.
Like this?
Uh, yeah, it should be access. Yeah, let me search for it. Access helper 3S.
Oops, not like that. Okay, so
Can you check in the docs?
I will. So let's just go to the docs of here. Where's your Algolia search?
I don't have it yet.
Aye. Okay,
A
so
lot of
where do
people
I
have
find it?
requested it. Eh?
I can imagine that would help a lot. Okay, so
So
where?
for the
Oh,
access
it's this one,
helper,
right here. It's this one.
that one right there. So
I'm just gonna steal it from here.
yeah, because it's not with. I saw it. It's in the end. It's access helper.
Oh, it's without an I. Oh,
Yeah,
oh, the things that TypeScript would do for you, my friend.
we don't realize how much we depend on TypeScript until we do something like this.
Exactly. Okay, so this is cool. So now
Okay.
you can see that it's actually up a little bit. And that's
Mm-hmm.
probably because of this. So if we just do this, it's gonna be like at the 0 point. Oh no, that's interesting.
Because of the group, you have a group.
Yeah. You see, it's starting to become more normal now. Okay, so now
Okay, now
it's
it's in the
over
center.
the axis helper, and here I could just say, okay, go up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. This is
Correct.
cool. Dude, I think we might be getting ready to do some more fancy stuff.
I think we can animate it.
Oh,
Maybe.
really? Shall we just make a bounce?
Yeah, we can make it like to in the y-axis to move. Yeah,
I like it. All
because
right.
that comes a part that we can actually see from here. So if you go up, there should be something about basic animations in examples.
Let's see. Basic animations. I love the stack blitz because the web container is so fast. It's crazy. It just
It has
works.
been great for this, like great. I'm be talking with the Stackblitz people a lot, We might have a surprise for you soon, but basically all the demos are in the stacklets, so I can put them everywhere.
It's so easy. Okay, so shall we just look at the what code is used here for this one?
As you prefer. So for that one, we are going to actually use a composable because we are going to
Oh,
learn
nice.
how to modify an instance that we create in the script.
Okay, shall I? What do I copy from here to make that work?
Now
The
we
render
can do
loop?
it. We can do it directly on the code if you want.
Okay, here we go. So what do we need?
So you need to import use from the core. My cat is snoring, so maybe he will make some noise.
It's not heard it yet, but it's only cute, so we're good.
Render loop, that one.
All right, cool.
Okay. So we need to use like cons, like deconstructing, and get function that is called on loop
Like this.
between brackets to deconstruct it. Mhm.
Right, I'm gonna just check here. Oh, do we need to get this like that?
Yeah, from
Okay.
the composable. Mhm.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So
All right,
what is this, right? You remember we talked about the game loop.
exactly.
This is basically the game loop.
So
So
this is
it's
your hook into if a cycle in the loop happens, then on loop function is likely fired, right?
yeah,
Okay, cool.
exactly.
I like it.
In each animation frame, and this is something that Wet contribute. Like he's a open source contributor for view use. So we are actually using view use rough composable under the hood.
Oh, that's very cool. I like that. All right, so how do we hook into that loop and make this thing move?
So you remember that we were talking about the properties and making reactive, right? So that could work, but the recommended way of doing is that we take the actual 3GS instance from the template.
Oh, so what we do is make a ref to this mesh and then give that ref to 3GS and do something.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
In this part, template refs were super useful for this.
I think I saw that here also. Like, where did you do that? Oh yeah, this.
Yeah.
Oh, but if you want to do a ref, you have to Oh yeah, you have to do this, right?
You had to.
But I called it.
This is with the script setup. This is the way of doing it in the script setup.
Yeah, this is cool. Oh, but I need to load this from Vue, I think.
Yes, both of them. This is the type, and this is the actual
Ah,
shadow.
okay.
I use shallow ref because it's again shallow, so it will be more performant. But in this case, it doesn't matter if you use ref.
Oh, but let's just use whatever you think is the best. So we have the sphere and we have the loop.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's just a matter of, yeah, let me just copy this because I cannot type. But then we
Don't
can
worry.
we can do whatever we need to do now. So if the thing has a value, so what I'm actually interested in is this. We might be destroying my console now because of the game loop.
Yeah,
Right?
you have to be mindful. Mm-hmm.
Will this destroy something?
No, but try to pause it because it's gonna run that every frame per second.
Yeah, that's going to be painful. But let's go. Uh,
You didn't get the reference?
Sphere dot value. The loop is running.
And it has the ref in the mesh.
Okay, let's see. Oh wait, where do we actually? It's on the mesh here. Maybe it has to be this.
I don't know.
Hmm. Let's see what is the difference here. How is it done here? Okay, so you ref the mesh itself.
Yeah.
You have a ref, and then on loop. You just look if it has something and you add it. This is, I think, the same.
It's weird that this project that you have local is exactly the same on the stack blitz. I don't know why it's happening.
Okay, what we can just do is this.
You can
Let's see
watch
if
it.
it.
Hmm.
What we can check now is to see if it actually gives us a 3GS instance. It doesn't.
No, because you need to watch it. At the beginning, it will be new
Oh, because of course, after once it actually mounts and does the things, it becomes. Yeah,
available. Yeah.
okay. Well, we know the sphere is a thing because it's actually rendered on the screen.
Yeah, but it should give you the mesh.
How about we just try this? Maybe the loop is not running. Oh, it certainly is. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and this gives you the delta between each frame and the accumulated time.
Oh,
So
I
that's
like it. And you see, it hates it because it has to render to the console and it cannot do the animation anymore.
I destroy so many consoles with this.
Yeah, yeah, I've been there. Oh, wait, let's just kill that for a sec. Okay, we're back in action. Okay, cool.
Okay,
So
so
it
what
actually somehow doesn't know what the sphere is. Do we need to make the loop first and then
it doesn't
maybe
matter.
instead?
What we can do to test if it's working is actually using watch effect. We can console log to see whenever it's mounted. So
Watch effect. I never use that. I actually just do, generally, I just do this.
watch.
And then probably sphere, something like
Yeah.
this. I forgot.
Watch effect is great because you can return like a function, and if you're using something that is reactive inside of it, like console log it, for example, it will just put it there.
So it works like this.
So if you console log a sphere value, it should, yeah.
Watch effect makes me think about React so much, but let's not go there.
It, it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Like I know what you mean.
Okay, so it really it's not happy.
Okay, everything decided not to work today. What's happening?
I love that because this is Tim tries. It has to break. This is the
But
way
it's
to
cool
go.
because then we can explain it.
Exactly. So do I have shadow ref? Do I have
Hmm.
all the things? So sphere is a thing. So now it should okay. So value is nil, but at least it gives us the fact that it's a ref. So do we just do literally this? I don't know, man. I'm just doing something crazy.
If you do a sphere dot how you call it a sphere dot value instead of a sphere, it gives you null as well.
Yeah, because value literally is nil.
So maybe it's something about the mesh not returning the.
And did I maybe make a mistake here?
But it's the sphere that is causing a lot of issues, right?
Yeah. Shall we just, you know what? I have an idea. Oh, maybe because it doesn't have arguments or something.
No, it shouldn't be that. Lol.
Nope. it's just nope today.
What version is using in the package, Jason?
Okay, what are we using?
Okay.
I'm just
Try.
gonna check the variants. Oh, you want to go to the
Yes.
latest? Let's do it.
That's a good reminder that I had to date the starter then.
Dude, there's always something about updating your starters. I work at a startup and we have to do that every release.
It's impressive.
That's how it goes. Let me just
I
quickly
mean,
check if you have
people
anybody in the
underestimate
chat.
how much work is behind open source project that actually work.
Oh
It's
man,
impressive.
it's so complicated sometimes. Um, wait.
Hey, Alexander.
Oh yeah, let me just quickly. What's up, Alexander? Thank you for watching. Okay, let's have a look. So we are now at one, like the latest of everything. Oh, we're not at the latest of feet and TypeScript, but I don't think that's a big deal, right?
No, shouldn't be.
Not for this, at least. Okay, so I restarted the thing. What did I? Yeah, okay, it's running again.
Hmm.
And so we want to have the value. Maybe we shouldn't, maybe we can just use a normal ref rather than a shallow if something decides to break.
Hmm.
Oh, it's really not happy. Oh,
Let's
wait.
do one last thing before going crazy. Let's actually copy the one in the stack blitz completely.
I like that. So this whole thing,
Yeah, the whole thing.
I like it. Mhm. Okay. And it works.
Okay, so let's must contain a perspective
Oh, yeah,
camera.
it gives us an error somehow.
Yeah, but that's one that I had to remove because we actually have the camera controller inside of the scene rather than on top of the scene.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. But that's all right. Yeah, you actually have the camera inside the scene.
Yeah.
And so in this case, like the canvas is just 100% of the, oh, here, window size. Okay, that was my
Mhm.
question.
Yeah, that's a recent change that I did to make it responsive whenever you are creating like how do you call it? A demo for a web page that you might not have the entire screen. That
Yeah,
is responsive like this. Exactly.
it's very cool. You see that refresh request animation frame has a bit of trouble when you resize.
Yeah.
Ah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
because it's expensive. Mhm.
Exactly. All right, so let's see if we did anything differently.
I see it the same though.
It looks the same to me, my friend. But I believe it. It's cool. I think it's probably something with the scene that it somehow couldn't get the ref.
Can we put it like side to side just to see? I'm curious because if this is happening here, a lot of people might having this issue, and the problem will be that they will get disappointed and not continue using it, and that's something that we
Exactly.
don't want.
Okay, so we're back to what I had. Okay, let's see. So this is the demo, and this is what I coded.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah. Oh, dude, do you think maybe it's the canvas props that we're giving it? Because here you just do some simple things.
Well, it should be the same because we were using Vvine though. That will be interesting. Let's go down to see the actual a little bit the other one. So trace per orbit controls the same trace cameras, traces here, trace perspective camera.
It looks the
The,
same to me.
the only thing I can imagine is that it's inside of a group. If you remove the group,
Oh, and I also just put the camera inside.
that might affect, but no, I think it's a group.
Oh.
That's a good bug.
If we found the bug, I'm happy because this is Tim tries. Oh, and it works. Okay, cool.
That was it.
Yeah.
Damn. You see,
Okay,
it's
so
complex. Like, to be fair, you don't know how many hours of debugging these kind of things.
mhm.
I spent like most of the time. The actual idea was quick, but making sure that
And then
work.
you go for real, right? And then it starts to happen. Uh-oh, I think I might have removed the camera. Look,
Lol, yeah, you remove it.
okay, camera is here. Let's go and remove the group.
The group. Yeah.
And let's not console log the value of the
Yeah, but
ref.
now we can do something great. We can animate it.
Okay, we're ready to go. So we have the delta of the change. So what I imagine is that, well, what is that delta exactly?
So delta is the time between two frames.
Ah, okay. So 13 milliseconds or 16 or something in this
Really
case.
small. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, if we're at 60 frames per second, it's 16 milliseconds per frame. So what we could do is probably do something like this. I'm gonna go from whatever my brain tells me.
Yes.
I don't know. Go. Does it make sense?
That's a good start. Let's see what does.
Oh, maybe I can just do this. Now it goes down forever, basically. Oh, it says nothing. Oh, it cannot read the Y.
Postitium.
Oh yeah. Okay, so oh look at that. Okay, it's gonna go forever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The idea is there, but we need to max it somehow.
You can use this is where you actually use trigonometry.
There we go.
So if you use a plus sign and you use a mat dot scene, like sine wave.
Do we do it here?
No, at the end, like with the delta.
Ah. Oh boy, school is coming back.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, so we just make a sinus. Okay, so well, if we do a sinus, it should go back up.
Yeah,
Uh,
eventually. Like it depends on the delta, though. Is how fast it will do it.
okay, we might have to control our sinus curve.
Like now is slowing down and it probably will come back again.
Yeah, it's
Let me see if
slowing
I
down
have.
for sure.
Let me see if I have one with parameters that will work.
It's okay. Anyways, it's good fun. I love this shit.
Oh well, with the math sign. Um, wait. Let me see something. Wait, animations. I have it in the stack with me.
I'm gonna add a few other ones also just for fun. While you look that up, we're just gonna oh, not this one. This one.
And now you change the rotation, right?
Yeah, I did rotation, and what else did I do? The C value. I don't actually know what that does. This is the depth.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Is X, Y, and C towards you.
Exactly.
So we were trying to use math sign, huh?
Yes.
Okay, so actually the reason is that we are using it with delta. So if we use it with without the plus or the put it back in. So instead of that, remove that the minus sign,
Ah, okay.
and inside of the scene use elapsed and multiply it for 0.1 maybe.
Yeah, otherwise it goes too fast. So it's a
Yeah.
tenth of the elapsed frame. Oh, we're not adding or removing anything now. It's literally just how the sinus would work. Okay, wait. It is going up, actually.
Yeah, but a little bit, no? Maybe we need to multiply the amplitude. So that will control how fast, but if you multiply the whole thing by 3, for example, it should be more,
Like this?
yes.
Nice.
Okay, now it's feasible.
Look, actually, hot reloading is happening. It just renders another thing.
Yeah, that was an issue that we're constantly having because it's really complex. We're using bit, okay, for the hot model replacement.
Yeah.
So there are certain things that they can do, like certain properties that they change, but we
Mhm.
have the struggle from the beginning to have a proper HMR. We are actually have a discussion on the GitHub
Yeah.
to solve this because it's really tricky.
To me, I would just be very crude and say, each HMR that you do, refresh.
Yeah, but that's not nice, right?
Oh no,
Like
of course not. But that's pretty cool. If like,
we want to be cool. So yeah, I mean the rule of thumb: if it doesn't refresh what you need, yes, refresh it. But we want to get into the point that it's not needed.
it would be super cool if you're changing colors and textures, for example, that it just reapplies that texture to whatever sphere or whatever you have in HMR. That would
in
be
HMR.
super, super cool.
The complexity comes with the disposal of the objects,
Yeah.
because you need to remove them all from the scene and
Well,
then
you
apply the
basically just
correct.
have to do scene remove and scene add in the state that it was.
Correct. But it depends where you did the change, because if you did the change in the script, it's different from the template.
Oh man, I don't think I want to have your job. It's really hard.
I mean, this something that, for example, Pinso, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Gile is having
Mhm.
with the library as well, because
Yeah,
it's I talked this with Patek, like how to differentiate whenever the change is done in the template
yeah.
or in the script tag.
I wouldn't actually know because, but I haven't gone deep into that. To be fair.
Well, since it's framework agnostic, it's something that it needs to be done by the view Vite plugin view.
Yeah, I can
But
imagine in here you can make some sort of plugin where you can hook into it.
mm,
Yeah. So time is flying. I want to do like 10 more minutes. So what do you think is the best? Do we chat about your TypeScript stuff or do we actually build something else? What would you
maybe
prefer?
maybe we can copy and paste something else so you can see it,
Yeah, I
because
like that. Let's just do a really one cool thing.
yeah, like a model that somebody can get from internet.
Ah, okay. So how do we do that?
You see that there is one called load models.
Yeah. Oh, let's grab this one. Let's wait for it to run
So
because I
this
want to
one
see it.
is well, we can show it here actually instead of trying to put it in
Oh yeah,
the.
exactly. This is cool. This is my youth, man.
I know, a lot of nostalgia there.
I remember when this game came out on the PlayStation 1, I bought it. I did not put the controller down for a long time.
It was my favorite, like my favorite ever.
I
Um,
actually bought it on the Switch. It's not even my Switch, it's my wife's Switch. When she doesn't use it, I play Crash Bandicoot.
the four one or the previous ones.
No, no, I bought like the first 3 games for like 20 bucks or something.
Really good. So the
Oh,
cool
this is
thing is
so
that
cool.
you can go in a Sketchfab where I got this model. I have it in a specific place, like
Yeah.
in a GLTF. So GLTF is like a open source kind of JSON file for models,
Okay.
and there are several ways you can add it. In this example, we're using the use loader and passing the GLTF loader for from 3GS. Aha, exactly. This is amazing.
Whoa, but this is like a pretty big file.
It is. That's why we use
What?
compression.
Oh, this must be some sort of compressed
Yeah,
approach. But
with
this
Taco.
GLTF loader literally just comes from 3GS.
Yeah, from one of the example, which is not ideal. You can see that you need to add the three examples, and that's not
Oh,
reshakable. It's a problem with the
oh, it's
core
one
library.
big thing essentially.
So what we did, if you scroll down outside of StackBlitz, this is the way with the core package. Okay,
Hmm. Oh, this is
only
cool.
using the core package.
Yeah, so this is relatively light actually, doing it this way.
It's how you will do it in 3GS plain.
Hmm. And so you created basically a composable for, and you add a loader and whatever you want to load, and it just takes care of it.
Yeah, for you, and it creates an await, which is really important because you can
Mhm.
use suspense.
Yeah, because with suspense, you can even have like models loading and stuff. That's cool.
Exactly, that's the perfect example. But
Oh, and so basically this thing becomes a mesh
yeah,
and you bind that scene to the mesh like this. Yeah, of course, because it's in
that's
Vue.js. This makes sense.
it's verbose. That's
Yeah, I like that. This makes sense to me. I could use this.
but you're gonna like this. So there is an extra package which is more to be a community package, which is
Hmm.
cientos. So the joke is really bad. It's 300, 300, and
Oh, nice.
so the idea is to create abstractions that simplifies the life of whatever whoever is using Trust, right?
Mm.
And there is a composable and a component directly if you want to use models from GLTF.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah, it's just a component.
And so all the stuff that is not for the core, it just goes into Shentos.
Yes,
I like
to
that.
avoid having that much bundle.
Ah, and so you basically just grab a component that shows this thing and then a
Yeah,
path. So you don't need a loader.
yeah.
And what is Draco?
Draco is a compression tool under the
Ah,
hood.
okay, okay.
It's a crazy thing to the same topic that you were talking, like the GLTF is big. It
Yeah.
compressed the GLTF.
Oh, that's very cool. And that happens on build, I imagine.
Yeah.
Ah, the suspense. Nice.
Now, for everything that any composable that use a weight, you need to put suspense, and it will work.
Hmm.
For
So,
textures, for everything.
um, if I wanted to basically just build my personal website and add a bit of like a 3D thing in it, how can I make that performant for Core Web Vitals?
That's a really nice question. So, right now I'm working on preloading.
Okay. Oh,
So
that's nice.
that's a feature that React Fiber has that I
Hmm.
really like is that you can preload the assets.
So, is that in as easy as put a prefetch tag in your head, or will you actually add a preloader hook somehow or a composable?
Is that like it will be part of this composable, or
Okay.
maybe a secondary composable? It depends.
Because it
That
could be
will be
cool
to
to
the
have like a
preferences.
reactive property returning the percentage of how far it's preloaded, for example.
Exactly. That will be one idea. That's something that I want to achieve because I think it's important that the 3D scenes are performant.
Yes, because what I'm thinking is maybe we can do some sort of like I was thinking, let's say my hero component is actually something in 3D, but really like nice and small, easy design. It could actually be an image, and the moment you start interacting with the page, it loads
That's one
TresJS,
strategy.
puts the stuff in. But while you actually go to the page, it actually preloads some stuff behind the scenes. Maybe in a canvas off screen, or maybe in a service worker or something. Oh, I'm
Service
taking this
worker
pretty
will be
far,
one idea.
but that's pretty cool to do.
Mm. Yeah,
Now I
that's
just
something
have to
that
find like a nice 3D model or something fun I can put in my website.
it's also important that the 3D model is. I can help you with that. If you go to the 3D software to optimize it, because it depends how many triangles.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Actually, what I should do is make my own logo. Like
Or the
if we go
cap.
here,
You always use a cap, man. That will be a cool 3D model.
like I could actually make this logo in 3D somehow.
Yeah, totally.
Look, there's hats everywhere.
That it
That
will be
could
a
be pretty
nice
cool.
3D. So,
But like to be honest, if I wanted to do like a like it's like my logo is like a sign and it's a little bit thicker, so you can move it a bit like this and you see a bit of shine from the light. You know what I would do? I would go to After Effects, make the whole thing beautiful, output 16 frames and just loop the frames. This is my old school heart when we didn't have WebGL yet.
man,
That's what I
that's how
used to
it was
do.
done. Like,
Like preload some assets and just run them.
so I don't know how we are about time,
Oh, we're
but
good. Let's talk about this TypeScript thing. I think that's important. Let's
that's
go for
really important because to also communicate to the community. Like I haven't done this with a small team
it.
in fairly like a small time. So we are iterating a lot right now, and we want to solve the issues that we are seeing, like these issues that you had today, like TypeScript or things not showing, how to better give the user knowledge of what is happening, right?
Exactly. Because if you don't know 3GS and you still want to do this, actually telling you, hey, you can choose a sphere or a cone or something like that, that simple thing, or like a type of texture or type of color, if it just auto completes, that would make a world of change.
Exactly. No, and it's important because 3GS in general is not an easy thing.
No,
It's
it's not.
so if we can help with that, the better, because I struggle as well in their time. I don't know if I'm sharing
Yeah.
the
Here we go.
oh yeah, nice.
Here we go.
So here I'm working basically in a POC. So funny story. I was talking with Daniel the other day, Daniel Rowe. You might all know him. Thanks a lot, Daniel, because he always jumped to help me and take care of the community. So we were working on the Nux module, which is coming. So in that place, we were starting to use the Nux kit. Exactly, Daniel Rowe. So we were using the Nux kit to
Hmm.
create these virtual components on build time. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
to auto import them, all those kind of things. And we start
Wow.
discussing like, okay, but you have this side effect of the wrapper because you have a plugin, you have some provide inject. There are gonna be side effects. It's not reshakable, yada yada.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I've been talking with a lot of contributors, especially Yael, and we talk about generating them on build time. So generating them on build time is basically what you see here. So
So it looks at whatever imports you used, and then it just generates it into the bundle.
correct. So it creates a TypeScript file with the component here that is tree shakeable
Okay.
and is properly typed. So you will have TypeScript, and it simplifies so much how you create the components without the hacking, because in the other
Mm.
place, like in the previous version, we were hacking a lot the v nodes like crazy badly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I
Mm.
don't know how to do a custom render and how to reconcile the view one with the other one. That's basically React Fiber. React Fiber is a custom render with
Oh,
a
really?
reconciliation layer with React. If
Oh,
we
I didn't
manage to
even
do
know
that
that.
in
That's
Vue,
crazy.
it's no, that's another level. I don't get to that level.
Well, you can
Yeah.
definitely do it because then you can actually you can stop using proxies, for example, and somehow do something in that game loop with the reactivity. But that's pretty crazy. It's fun though.
It's gonna be a fun challenge. I have to admit I don't have the knowledge yet to do that, but I don't say never. So maybe we will have it in the future. For
Very
now,
interesting.
something that we want to do is create an on build time. So we have nice TypeScript
Yeah,
and it's tree shakeable. So you no longer need like a plugin. You can go directly to the app view and you can import whatever you need.
exactly. This is cool though. This makes it feel like a little bit, and especially when you have Nuxt later on, it just exists. You don't even have to
Exactly.
import. It will just autocomplete for you. That's crazy.
And you can see that these ones have some kind of typing. It needs to be
There you go.
refined, but it has typing.
That's cool. So why is it complaining?
Because I'm taking the original, like something that is really tricky is that the TresJS library is not done in TypeScript.
Aha, they need some work.
They need an external library that the React people is using, and
Mm.
that makes it difficult because right now, for example, I don't have the updated types for the latest version.
Ah, so they don't ship with types, so somebody else ships the types. Oh, that's crazy.
That's one of the pain points of Tree.
So we should all be tweeting the creator of 3GS to just TypeScript the thing.
It should, but I understand that's also a huge project,
Yeah, that's crazy.
and they already have all the work on Tree. But yeah, if we can make like a I don't know, like a contribution to make it in TypeScript, that will be amazing.
So last question. If I now embed like even the smallest thing, let's say just a little 3D animation on my page, how
Mhm.
big will my bundle be if I just add that?
With this approach of the new version,
Mhm.
it will be shakable. So if we
Oh, that's
create
cool.
the Nux module and we only use the components, like import the components that will be shakable, then it will be super small.
But it's
The
still 3GS complete, right? Because that's not tree shakeable, or is it?
3S per se, no, you will have the weight of 3S. I don't know. Like that's a good question. If 3GS
Because
is recheckable. I think
I
it
don't
is.
think it is, but the last time I used it, it wasn't, but that's too long ago. But what we tended to do is just we would actually lazy load 3GS in, and once it was in, only then initiate other things. And but it's a lot of hacking around, kind of.
No, but I do think that it's recheckable nowadays. But it's a good question.
Because if 3GS is tree shakeable and your packages, and you put it in a Next module and you use all their defaults, it's going to be super, super performant. That's interesting. I like it. And then if you add your preloading, even better.
It is tree shakeable because inside we are not importing the whole tree. We are importing only
Oh,
the things we need. So yeah, it's tree shakeable.
oh, cool. So you just have their core of the basic functionalities and then just certain things about meshes or things about
Mhm.
materials or whatever. Oh, very
Something
cool.
that will be more tricky for CentOS. So that's why where it needs to work in core. But if you want a better developer experience, then you have CentOS.
Wow. There's so much to unpack here. I like it.
We can
Because
do
I used
several
like
sessions.
so I used to work for Red Bull back in the day. And basically what we did, we filmed a guy on a motorcycle but we didn't have 360 cameras back in the day. So it was like 6 cameras on his head, basically. And then he would ride and then go off like a mountain and then just made like a big spin and then land again. I
Nice.
kind of want to build in with TresJS, obviously, get that 360 video and then play it in the browser so we can actually pan around while the bike does all the crazy stunts. You should be able to pan around in 3D.
Okay.
Can I build that in TresJS?
Yeah, it's possible because we will use a cube or a sphere geometry
Yeah,
and
around
basically.
the camera. The camera is on 0.
Mhm.
The sphere is like minus, so it's around the camera, and you project on the inside of the sphere. You project the video. It has the right, like that should be possible with like Mercado projection or something, right?
Yeah, with raycasting as well. There are some techniques with raycasting that we can use.
Can you do textures as videos nowadays? I imagine you can.
I actually saw like I really following the React community with React Tree Fiber because they are really advanced. Like nowadays
Hmm.
they're doing a lot of cool stuff. And I
Okay.
saw some videos projected on stuff and even web pages because
Wow.
for yeah, no, like for AR and VR, it's not
Oh
yet
yeah.
it's not just supported by Tres, but I do have somebody that asked it, and I'm planning, of course, to
You
have
know, it could be pretty interesting. Remember what Google brought out, or what I think it was a long time ago, but you can put your mobile phone in a piece of cardboard and it has two like little lenses from plastic in it. You can look through it and then do this, and it feels like a 3D world because it tricks your eyes somehow. And I think we could do something like that with TresJS.
that would
Oh,
be
I just gave
an
myself a
amazing
project, man.
showcase.
Sorry,
I love it. We
I'm
can,
ready to go.
we can do a lot of showcase, like cool stuff with it.
I think what we should try to get is maybe free video footage that's 3D filmed or 360 degrees, and then somehow figure out a way to apply that to a sphere or a cube or whatever, or cut it up ourselves, and then see if we can do that stuff because that's so much fun.
I mean, if it's something that you set as a property on the instance in 3GS or passing as an argument, we can pass it directly.
Exactly. You literally just map 3GS in a nice way. So we should be able to do it. All right. I think that will conclude our stream. I just gave myself more work and I'm very excited.
That's nice to hear.
I love it. So will the next conference talk be on TresJS?
Yes, actually, it will be in London, I think.
Oh, so end of the month?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm here as well. Maybe we can hack a little bit if we have some time.
that will be amazing.
Oh, good fun. I like it. So where do people find you before we end?
You can find me in Twitter as at Alvaro Sabu, same name for GitHub for everything. So you can find me there. And yeah, all press yes.
All right. Dude, thank you so much for your time because I know you were supposed to be live streaming yourself. So
Oh
now you
yeah,
did it on my stream, which I love that. So I thank you so much and speak to you soon, man. Cheers.
thank you for having me.